Hello and welcome to day 65 of Getting Good at Talking. I'm Leah and I'm recording myself every day talking to camera so that I can get better at talking to camera. I'm on a walk right now. I'm on my cool down walk. I just ran 6.8 miles and it's a hot one, but we did it. We survived. We did not die. And now we are regulating our body temperature and our nervous system. And it's a beautiful day. It's lovely. I've been doing this thing that's new. Instead of listening to music, my past few runs, I've been listening to my audiobook. I bet they're listening to music. I don't know. They might be audiobook runners as well. Anyway, I really like the book I'm listening to, Remarkably Bright Creatures. And yeah, I wanted to try it to see how it went. And it's actually, I thought not having a beat, not having like something to pump me up, I thought it would make me not want to run or run really slowly. It really hasn't affected my pace at all. And it's quite nice. It's quite nice. I quite enjoy it. And also, I wanted to talk about the book I'm reading, the physical book I'm reading, which is The War for Kindness. And I read a little before I went on my run. And the part I'm on talked about a few studies that were done. So far, this book is about like empathy and whether or not like empathy is a skill. Some people believe that it's a trait and you can't change it. Some people believe it's a skill and you can grow it and you can become better at it. And I believe that one. I believe that I have a growth mindset with most things. I'm sure I'll think of something later where I could work on having a growth mindset toward it. Anyway, so one of the studies was about I don't know. I just read it, so I'm trying to find the words to describe the study accurately. Also, I just felt weird all of a sudden. I don't know. Okay, let's stop for a moment. I did just run, so, and my brain's like, and you want to talk about a study you read about? Really? Why can't we just have fun? So, and that makes me think, like, why can't we just have fun? I I think learning is so fun, and I think growth is so fun because it's challenging, and I need to be challenged. Yeah. And oh, okay, we're having trouble staying on task. That made me think about when my ex-husband and I were going to couples therapy. We only went like 3 times. But I loved, and I still love, it's just a part of me, like acquiring new tools and using them to better my life. And a friend of ours during that time, he was like, Leah, most people don't like to do that stuff. Most people don't like therapy. Most people don't like, he didn't say to grow, but I mean, that's the truth. Most people like to stay comfortable. And I was like, I get that, but I like it. So what? He was basically just making excuses for my ex and why he didn't want to try. And I mean, it's fine. So the few times we did go to couples therapy, this was when I was introduced to being an empath. I was not familiar with empaths, and our couples therapist recommended a book. I can't think of the title. It was something about like surviving as an empath, or it's basically about navigating the world as an empath, and you have to have certain boundaries and awareness around energies because you're so susceptible to taking on other people's energy. And it was also the first time I was introduced to what a narcissist was. I was not familiar. The cardinal just flew right in front of me. I was not familiar with that term. And turns out what I learned from this book that the therapist recommended was that is a common pairing, an empath and a narcissist. And she was trying to tell me something without telling me something, you know? And I got it eventually, you know, after we were divorced. And I used those tools that I learned in that book to create boundaries with people and to better my life. And so yeah, I just like to do that. I don't know. I'm not satisfied with being comfortable. Yeah. So this study in this book, it was a study done in Europe. I think, Okay, it was now I feel like I'm gonna do words. The study. I don't know why I'm so stuck on the study. It's just because I wrote about it afterward, and I was like, I just think these things are incredible. It was done with a group of Manchester United soccer fans. I think it was, see, I just want to get the details right, but I guess it doesn't really matter if I get the gist of the study. Anyway, I think it was a group of Manchester United fans who were asked questions about being a Manchester United fan. And then later they encountered a jogger who had fallen, and it was an actor. And in different groups, the jogger had a Manchester United jersey on. In another group, they had I believe it was Liverpool jersey on. Whatever the, rival was or is. I'm not familiar. And then in another group, the jogger had a blank jersey, no team name. And so when the fans were asked about being a Manchester United fan, they would stop to help the jogger when the jogger was wearing a Manchester United jersey. But significantly less of the time they would stop for the Liverpool or the blank jersey. And then they did this again, only they asked the fans about soccer, what they loved about soccer. And then they encountered a jogger who had fallen and needed help. And they helped both the Manchester United jersey jogger and the Liverpool jersey jogger. But they significantly less of the time they helped the blank jogger, the blank jersey jogger. And this was to show like commonality and like empathizing with people. And like, I was like, they could have taken it even a step further and broken down the game of soccer to include jogging or running. And then I wonder if they would have stopped for all three of the jersey wearers. And then I just thought about myself, and when I am faced with, I'm not faced like with that opportunity to help people a lot, like just in the wild, someone falls and you need to help them. I don't encounter that often. But I was asked like a few days ago when I was chatting with my friend, he asked me another interesting question. So he asked me a bunch of interesting questions. Another one was, because this was Memorial Day weekend, he was like, what is it like, how, or he asked like, why do you feel American? And he's like, what is it in you? Or like, why? He just didn't really understand what makes people feel very patriotic and American. And I was like, well, honestly, I don't I've never thought of that. And I was like, and I don't think I have ever thought of myself as American. Like, I've never grouped myself in that category. Instead, I like to think of myself as human. And so when I encounter people, I am like, we're all just a bunch of humans. Like, we have flesh and bones and organs. We breathe. And I think when we can frame situations from that perspective, like if you're faced with like a challenging person who you disagree with, it's like you can always find that commonality of like, we're human. We have that in common. You can start there. And then I think it's fun and fascinating to go from there. And like, you could have so much in common with this person who you disagree with, but you never know if you can only see that disagreement. Anyway, yeah, we're all human. We all have this fleshy stuff covering our bones and our muscles and our organs, and yeah, we're all just living life. Anyway, I'm gonna keep listening to my audiobook because I'm really enjoying it. Also, maybe I am reading it or listening to it before I watch the movie, because I do want to watch it, but not until I finish the book. Okay. I think that's it for today. I'm just standing at the edge of the park watching people bounce basketballs. They all have that in common. They like basketball. That guy's running. I had that in common with him. I just ran. Everyone out here right now likes to be outside. We all have that in common. It's really, really easy to find commonality if you want to. That's just the thing, you have to want to. But you can, if you try, and you don't even have to try that hard. It's like really, 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 really easy. Like really easy. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna finish my cool down walk and listen to my audiobook. And I will see you tomorrow.